Peace and blessings, everyone. Welcome to Richual. My name is Ahym, and I'm so happy you guys are here with us. I am here with the lovely Aiesha Cosmos, and this is a blessing. She's a divine high priestess, and she came to share her blessings with all of us with Blue Lotus Apothecary, and I'm so excited to introduce you all to her. Welcome, Aiesha.
Hi, Ahym. Thank you so much. Hi, everybody. Hi.
Oh, it's such a joy to finally see you again since I've had my ceremonies with you. Thank you so much for coming. Please tell us more about your products and how you even started. What started Blue Lotus?
Well, oh my God. I grew up with a very holistic family, and my mother found early on that she couldn't rely on the conventional doctor because I was a little baby and I got super sick, and they were giving me all these antibiotics, and I was almost dead. And out of the blue, my father found out about a homeopathic doctor that was meant to be really amazing, and they took me to him, and I was healed in like 5 days. And so from then on, they ditched the pediatrician and they just got on to doing everything with the natural holistic style. And so I never had vaccinations. They just gave me the homeopathic reinforcements. And I also grew up with like getting like mud packs on my stomach and cold towels when I was sick, and also like this sun baths with cold water rotations on my body, and just all, yeah, drinking like garlic shakes with lime and onion.
Oh, wow. Definitely very different than
Oh yeah, very very different. So I had like all the homeopathic remedies and all the teas. And then my mom and my aunt studied with Doña Vicenta outside Mexico City in the hills in Morelos. And she was an amazing herbalist, recognized by the National Institute of Anthropology as being one of the last living inheritors of this wealth of pre-Hispanic herb medicinal lore that is just this most huge. And the pre-Hispanic kingdoms definitely had like full treaties on all the medicinal plants and did surgeries and had all this amazing knowledge. So my aunt she even had an apiary at her house. She had bees, and she made her own honey. And so we grew up eating super fresh honey. And she made all her own creams and stuff with the tinctures that she would make from the plants she would collect in the mountain. And so I just grew up with the massage, with the reflexology, with the chiropractic, with it was like everything my whole life. And so then when I moved to Tulum, like I guess 24 years ago, I started making my own creams, no, and stuff. And I used to just make my own. And then over time, I started feeling like, maybe I wanted to have a little makeup or something, or just something more delicious for my body. But obviously, the grocery store didn't have anything. There wasn't anything anywhere. And a couple years ago. So it's been a long time of me just making my own stuff for myself. And eventually I was like, oh, I really want to have like a lip gloss that isn't toxic, and that actually nourishes my lips. So I began tinkering with my recipes and buying different ingredients and vitamins and different things. And then eventually, started looking for the little tubes and just, but I was just doing it for myself.
Wow.
And so then eventually I was like, well, this would be great to share with my girlfriends, no? And so then I started thinking, oh, what would they like and how would they like to have it and what would be nice for them to carry in their purse, which size. And so I started just thinking of these things, but I was still just thinking about me and my community. I wasn't thinking of this big, expansive gift, not for the world. But then as I was showing it to people, were like, oh, you should really, like put this out there, and people really need stuff like this. And so then I started getting super excited. And also on my dad's side of the family, we have been working with silver ions for 25 years, making water filtration systems and all these purification systems and cleansing like black waters and stuff and putting it to school systems. And so we also make the concentrate. And so I am not a part of like my family business anymore, but I have my own with the silver ions, and so they're like great for your skin. They totally clear your skin. They're amazing for like ear infections, eye infections. They totally clean all like mouth bacteria and like deep infections. Because silver ions are so tiny, tiny little atoms of silver that they penetrate through the muscle and into the body, and then they kill pathogens and all kinds of like negative bacteria. And so then I started also thinking, oh, and then I'll put the silver ions in the thing because it's also really good when you get a cold. You can put it up your nose, and it also clears your sinus really well. And so then, because I use it for myself, I also had a tooth that was really bugging me, and I started putting it on my tooth. And then I even went beyond that. I started making this comfrey and clove mouthwash that is amazing for regrowing your enamel. And so there's like all of this because I love superfoods. I love organic eating. I buy all my groceries from the farm lady, the raw milk and the raw cheese and the raw hand-churned butter. And so all these things are just the passion of my life. I really want to have a farm. I want to be able to have a school that is for children and for the environment and for agriculture and for all this knowledge of the world with the ancestral stuff, with the ceremony, Toltec and the Maya. And so there's just this big sort of like universe now, this Aiesha Cosmos.
It really is beautiful. It is really beautiful.
Yeah.
So the products that we have here are based off of the things that you've created for yourself.
Yeah.
Wonderful. What do we have with us today?
So there is a bunch of stuff. I've so far designed 20 different products.
20 different products.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, it's very exciting.
Okay, wonderful. So we have lip gloss.
Yeah, there's lip gloss with the little sparkles, and there's just the lip balm that is with no sparkles or anything. It's just for nourishing your lips. There's also the peppermint foot silk that is so good for refreshing your feet after tired, standing up all day, walking too much, and just being, getting home and wanting to relax. There's also the tooth powder that has like bentonite clay and diatomaceous earth and activated charcoal and baking soda. And so it's amazing for balancing the pH in your mouth and remineralizing your teeth.
Oh, beautiful.
And it's also really good for polishing and getting out stains. And then if you mix it with also the little tea set that I have of the comfrey root with the clove, then any kind of abrasiveness that could take place from brushing your teeth, then this is regrowing your enamel.
Oh, wow.
So then also when you mix it with the silver ions can kill any infection that is like at the root of the tooth, and then it helps with the comfrey to then regrow the enamel. So that you are being able to have sort of like an all fronts assault on just things that are just really basic self-care. It's really not out of this world. Everything is food grade, organic, cold pressed, just
so
like
amazing.
totally, they're pretty much all food ingredients.
Oh, wow.
But it's just like food for the body.
Wow.
And
the skin is our like greatest organ. So what's amazing as I'm hearing you talk is it sounds like you have things for any time of the day. Things like products for when you rise, when you are out and about, things if you're not feeling healthy to help you grow. I love all of this.
Yeah, there's body silk, and that's amazing for like the calloused hands. So if you have just like your whole body want to feel super lush and delicious. There's also the super yummy aphrodisiac creams, and there's like the ones that have just the straight up aphrodisiac, but then I also have the super deluxe that has African amber in it, which is this very sultry, delicious, amazing, rich smell that is just so good. And then I also have the massage oils. And so the massage oils I have with copal, which is super energy protection and it's so nourishing. I also have the meditation oil with the blue lotus that's super activating of the pineal gland and the frankincense. And so it's like super beautiful. Then there's also like the soothing massage oil, which is with wintergreen and ginger and lemongrass, and it's really great for tendons and for sore muscles, and it's got cannabidol tincture in it, and so it's also really good for like pain and to be able to soothe the body, to get like a really deep tissue massage.
Amazing. So
Yeah.
all the products here you use yourself, and
Yeah.
so they're
Uh-huh.
and you've given it. Now you're ready to give it to the world.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, I use it myself. And then there's also for men, I have the aftershave creams that have really delicious manly smells, so that it's also really nice for a girl to like go and hug him and he smells so good.
Oh, that's wonderful. Yeah, it's part
Yeah.
of the essence, right?
Yeah, and it's very nourishing for the skin. So it has Peru balsam, and it helps if you get any cuts when you're like shaving, and it totally helps to heal little cuts and stuff.
Amazing.
Yeah, or irritated, like if you get irritated, because some guys get like irritated by shaving, and so this is really soothing for them.
It sounds like you put a lot of thought into this.
Yes, I
Everything is wow. Wow, so amazing. So since you've started with your products, have you received any reviews? Have people told you how they feel about it and their experience with it?
Well, I have some people that have already acquired them, but because I haven't gone fully into market yet, then there haven't been that many people that have gotten to experiencing
I
this.
see.
So that's why I'm so excited to be talking to you and to be making these beautiful videos for people to be able to get an idea of this, so that then also they'll be able to keep tabs of the stores that they're going to be going into, or also on my website, aieshacosmos.com, in the shop area. I will be making their own website, Blue Lotus Apothecary.shop, but that is still in the making.
Amazing. I know that I've tried the silver ion spray and it really helped me. And this was one at a time where I was having trouble with my breathing. And so I am very grateful for your products. And I love that you really took your time with each of them and putting ingredients that are from the earth, from the divine, for us to stay well balanced, especially with the things that we put in our bodies or on it. It's really beautiful.
It's good for the stuff we put on our body to be food, so that it's actually nourishing. It's got vitamins, like the massage oil has like vitamin E. It's got like all these really good things for us that are actual food. Like I actually buy high quality vitamins and high quality, cacao butter, shea butter, the coconut oil, and the castor seed oil, like the I Love serum, which is for your eyes.
Oh, and
It's got powdered organic rose petals with powdered or compressed freshwater pearl, and the castor seed oil with vitamin E. And so you put that around your eyes before you go to bed, and it's like super eye food. Like it just totally nourishes your eyes, but also with the vitamin E and the rose petals, it also helps to clear any fine lines around your eyes.
wow, how funny.
Yeah.
Wow, there's a science to it all.
Yeah. I've been definitely tinkering and researching.
That's wonderful.
Mhm.
It's really important because then, like, with one, it's beautiful. So the appearance, right, is just so lush. But to know that the ingredients inside of it are also very luxurious and valuable too. It's not just something that you're putting on your skin because you think it's gonna make you look less like harsh, but it's because it's actually giving your body nourishment.
Yeah.
I love it. Very, very beautiful. And so you were talking about you've spoken to me about different ceremonies, and I've experienced ceremonies with you, but you can also use your products for different rituals throughout the day. Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Yeah, well, I'm even designing a course right now. It's called A Method to Rituals, and it's a 13-day guided course on how to create healthy habits for your morning and for your evening. And so there's like the whole taking care of your teeth, taking care of your eyes in the morning, so that there's also the washing your eyes with the rose water, and then brushing the teeth with the tooth powder and putting the silver ions, and then doing the mouthwash with the comfrey root and the clove. And so that is like this amazing thing. But then also once you step into your altar and you're like connecting, and so then there's the meditation oil, and then also with the copal oil, it's really beautiful. Also with the aphrodisiac, to be able to do the breast massage and your face massage, and to be able to then nourish your feet. And so then you can do like your oracle or your incense. I'm also designing a box that's going to be the mystic box, and it's going to come with the Mayan calendar oracle that I designed with the meditation oil and some really beautiful high quality copal incense, and also with little divine offerings that I make, which are these little glass vases with cork. Yeah, and they have pearls and crystal quartz and tobacco and myrrh and frankincense and copal and like all the blue lotus petals with lavender petals, rose petals, and so it's like all this little tiny package of sacredness that then you can put your intentions into. You can put on your altar. You also use it in the ceremony, and then when we do the ceremonies at the Jaguar Priestess Temple in Ceremonies, we go to the cenote and we bring the intention vials after we've done the whole ceremony and setting the intention and the oracle readings and the recapitulation purifications with the fire of the writing, the processes we've been through and being able to transmute our past. And then we go to the cenote waters, which are connected to the sacred underworld in the middle of the land where the jaguar roams, with the eagles flying overhead and the little super beautiful little fish in the water. It's really such a super privilege and so grateful that Spirit brought me to this land where I can guide people through this ancestral wisdom practices and all of this holistic herbology and ancient Mexican white magic, and then be able to go there and dip into the cenote waters and pour the contents of the offering there, and then call on to intent and set the new intention and feel the wind respond. And it's just this most pleasure to have been born to be able to serve in this way.
It's such an honor. So, what is your intention with your temple and with Blue Lotus?
Well, Blue Lotus Apothecary is actually a beginning bloom for a way bigger dream, which is the book that I'm writing, A Manual to Enlightenment, which is a 500-page book that has in it just everything I know. Everything I've studied, everything I know from the Mayan wisdom, the Toltec wisdom, the herbology, the sacred sexuality with the Vedic lineages, and the beautiful influence also from the community creation and all this ancient wisdom from Russia and all these different blessings that spirits brought into my life that over the past 27 years have allowed me to transform myself, transform my relationship to my past, relationship to my body, the relationship to my sexuality, learning how to really become empowered through my story, but not in a wishful thinking way or in a silly, extremely positivistic bypassing, no, but definitely going through it, but going through it with the tools to actually turn coal into diamonds, no, to actually be completely transformed. And obviously, this is a lifelong process, and only death gets the job really well done. But it is such a delight to be able to now finally have glimpsed what this book is really all about, because I've been writing this book for like 23 years. But it wasn't only up until like a year and 7 months ago that I finally got the full dimension of the book and how it's connected to being really like the thesis of my life and everything that I know with all the like eco architecture, synthropic agroforestry, all the different ways of like conceiving children, raising children, like all of this stuff derived from ancient wisdom. This is not something somebody made up 20 years ago. This is all stuff that's coming from these ancestral lineages that have been tested through time, that have stood the test of time for thousands of years. That is really like the inheritance of humanity. No? And it also, the conclusion of this book is Blue Lotus University, which is this university for children that is also a new way of creating community, a new way of doing business, a new way of articulating agriculture into daily life and also having children at the center of it all and having children participate in the running of society. And so that school, Blue Lotus University has all the different faculties because it's a university for children, but also the parents are there and all the different professionals are working there. So it's also a business model because, there's like many communities that try and get away from society and have like the little school and their little houses, maybe their tiny little orchard or some like little garden, but they always fail. They always end up leaving and going back to the job because they don't have a job there, no, and so they don't really have a way of supporting themselves. And also, so many communities that are not grounded around the sacred fire and around the sacred practices and around the discipline and the responsibility that it takes to actually be cauldrons of transformation within our own soul and within our own bodies. Then all the bickering and the different taking things for granted, taking each other for granted, start taking the better of the community, and it ends up also disintegrating. No, or one person wants to be the one calling the shots, telling everybody what to do. And so I've lived in so many communities. I've had up to 27 roommates now. Like I've been in all kinds of different scenarios of community living. And I stopped a long time ago because I saw that it needed a lot of refinement and it really needed to be addressed in a way that was completely transformational. No, like not at all how I have been able to witness. And I know that there are probably some very successful communities around the world, and I haven't been to them, so I don't know them. But just because of my dream of being able to actually create a new education system for Mexico, no, and a new education system for the world. Amazing. That integrates indigenous knowledge, modern knowledge, art, healing, science, just like sacred practices, the sacred temple, like the divine masculine, the divine feminine, like all these different things. And then for children to be able to be at the center of it all, no? And to have it all be purification and healing art and the body and the food and for everything to be connected. Because one of the things that I was feeling very strongly for many years is that the world is fractured and that everybody specializes in something, but nobody knows how all the pieces work. It's like the factory workers. Now, one guy just puts in screws, the other guy just puts in the rubber, the other guy just puts in the handles, but nobody knows how to make the whole thing. Nobody has the full picture. And so Blue Lotus University is a school system that allows for every individual to have the full picture of everything, not just of one particular thing. And then as children grow, they can specialize if they so choose, but they will do so knowing the value of every other piece so that they also can respect each other and
beautiful.
Value each other. Yeah.
So beautiful. Wow, it sounds like divine calling.
It is. It is. Because otherwise I wouldn't even do it because it's a lot of work.
Man, I can imagine.
Yeah.
I can imagine. And you are also a high priestess and oracle, and I want us to be able to get to the more of your services. But before we do, and your lovely book, where do you know when we can be expecting the book? Or
well, the reason why Blue Lotus Apothecary became the forefront of the whole thing is because I really want to be able to focus on doing the book, but to do the book, I need to not be focusing on working all the time. And so Blue Lotus Apothecary is something that can support me in being able to delegate it to others. Now, I really want to be able to have single mothers making the products so that then they can have a steady job and also participate in the ceremony work and everything, so they can also transmute their belief systems and also start getting into deeper alignment with their own divine calling, with their own beautiful talents, with their own sacred sexuality, with their sacred body vessel, and to be able to heal, any, things they might have about men or about their dad or, just the imprints of their mother, because we cannot think that the people who raised us or the stories we've lived have not been perfect. No, they have been absolutely perfect. But we just need the right tools to be able to harness the perfection, harness the true wealth of wisdom that we are able to embody when we really can transmute this and alchemize it completely. And so, with being able to delegate Blue Lotus to beautiful women, that then I can focus completely on writing the book. Beautiful. No, and so then because writing this 500-page book implies diagrams and all kinds of different structure, and my beautiful neighbor, who's this divine woman architect, is gonna do all the layout plans and everything for the whole school and the whole farm, and it's all gonna be in the book. You'll be able to open it up and see the whole thing, because the book is really like blowing the conch shell, making the great call of all the beings that were born on this earth to make this school with me. Wow. No, so that then they can see it, they can flip through it, and then they can recognize that this is my calling, and I am the one that takes on this role. No, and then I take on this role, and the other person takes on that role and that role, because we need so many people's divine calling to come together for making this new way.
Everyone has a purpose.
Yeah.
And it also sounds like harmony, like everyone's part, everyone's piece coming together. There is a way where there can be a divine harmony in it all. In community, sounds like something that you very much value and appreciate and enjoy empowering your community. And I love that you're doing it with the work that you do. And it also sounds like the products are the forefront to something. It's like the gateway to something remarkable. Amazing community, amazing education, amazing healing, really at the forefront. And in the products itself, there's healing, there's beauty, and there's connection with the divine nature. It's so good. Wow. Yeah. Truly, very thought-provoking and thoughtful. Wow. Congratulations on everything that you're doing. And so if people want to purchase the products and connect with you more, where can they find you?
Well, they can find me at Instagram, Aiesha Cosmos. They can also go on my website, aieshacosmos.com, and we'll, wherever we end up sharing these videos, I'll make sure that we put the links under the description. And yeah, like even if they wanted to reach me on WhatsApp, they can send me a text, Mexico code with 984-745-7500. Because obviously, this is a project that is meant to grow and expand, and I am like the keeper of it, and I am birthing it, and it is all coming in these realizations that are, being birthed inside of my consciousness. And I know that it's the result of all of this like discipline that I've nurtured with my celibacy, because I've been 12 years celibate, cultivating my energy to be able to serve the divine. And it is through this process of really cultivating myself as a vessel for service that has then allowed me to glimpse these visions and these ideas and these things that, because really I was born to serve, like that is like the joy of my soul. There isn't anything in me that wants it all to be for me. No, because I cannot have what I want to have if everybody isn't also doing it with me. No, and so that's why the ceremony work is so powerful. I realized maybe 4.5 years ago, because I've been doing Mayan astrology readings and working with the ancient Quiche Mayan calendar and the Dream Spell contemporary Mayan calendar for 26 years. But as I was also doing my own ceremonies, just for my own processes, and doing my own purifications and doing my own initiations, and then also spirit initiating me out of the blue and taking me by surprise and ripping my life apart and completely shattering all of my concepts and belief structures in order for me to be able to step into true unity thinking, unity feeling, unity connecting. Beautiful. And so then 4.5 years ago, I started to feel I was going through my year of the Jaguar Priestess in the Mayan calendar. Everybody has a sign that they embody for a whole year. That is what they land on their birthday. So that year my birthday was the jaguar, and so then all of a sudden I was like, well, if I'm a jaguar this year, then my house has to be the temple, and I'm gonna be the jaguar priestess, and I'm gonna call it the temple of the jaguar star, which is also the black jaguar, and it's like so what I'm like totally connected. Since I was a little girl, I always loved the black jaguar. There was this cartoon, Hannah of the Jungle, and she totally had a black jaguar friend that they lived in the jungle, and that was like my ultimate alter ego. And along with Indiana Jones, I also always wanted to be Indiana Jones. And so this whole connection to this ancient wisdom.
Keep going. I was gonna say, why do those two stick out to you?
Well, Indiana Jones is just this seeker of mysteries, no? And it's the one that is like decoding the ancient wisdom and being such a rebel and so amazing, but he's also a scholar. No, he's super knowledgeable and super respects the ancient wisdom, and he's like saving it from, like tomb raiders or people that are like just stealing or corrupting it, no?
Wow.
And Hannah of the Jungle, she's just this super jaguar lady, no? She's just like hanging from the vines and climbing on the trees and swimming in the river, and she's totally free and she has no fear and she's just totally connected to nature. And so that's definitely like I actually lived in tents for 10 years. I just camped. In many instances, I've had no running water, no electricity, just living outside under the stars, waking up at 5 a.m., doing my practices. And so, like, I've definitely been like a wild girl. No, like, I grew up with a grandfather that was also into fishing and hunting and camping. And so I just had this interesting balance between going to prep school and being with the uniform and going to school with the sons of politicians, and then also having the super wild, making the fire, setting up the tents, and dealing with the storm, and being in the middle of the mosquitoes, the intensity of nature. Yeah, and so having all this mix just has given rise to then developing these ceremonies for others. Now being able to then have people come to the Jaguar Priestess Temple and be served by the Jaguar Priestess that is offering her life to serve the
your
divine.
life's work.
Yeah.
Literally since your birth. Since your birth. It's like literally pouring into all of your work.
Yeah.
It is beautiful.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. On your journey, I'm sure you've learned, like just talking to you and listening to you, there's like knowledge pouring out of you. But what are some lessons you've learned that you appreciate on your journey?
That even demons serve the divine.
So good. That's one. That's powerful.
Yeah.
Wow. And why has that served you the best? Like,
because it allowed me to transcend confrontation and thinking that there is an enemy where there is no enemy.
There is no enemy.
No.
What a gift.
Yeah. Yeah, because even demons are here to serve us.
Everything is always here for the betterment of us.
Yeah, everything is just having their own job. Everything has its own role. Like parasites have a role, and so, once you start being really pure and clean and disciplined, parasites don't come anymore. Also when you have better discernment, boundaries, don't just open your energy to whoever, don't become codependent, take responsibility, then you're also not gonna have wacky relationships. And so there's so many different things that we can have horrible experiences and really challenging relationships or challenging health issues or challenging horrible things that can happen because there's no way that we can bypass the horrible. The horrible is in there. But that doesn't mean the horrible is there to destroy us. It's not there to grind us to a pulp because it hates us. Like maybe a person taking on a role because like I was attacked almost 8 years ago at my home at 3 a.m. This two guys came in and they were wanting to steal my stuff. But in the process of them being kind of drunk, and me not being able to get what they wanted from me, they ended up totally beating me up, strangled me, stabbed me with a screwdriver in my third eye 3 times. And it was this wild initiation because at the time that it happened, I was already really deep into Deida work and into my sacred sexuality and into the beautiful divine union of the soul contracts we have with others when we come into the world. And so when this happened, instantaneously, I had a split reality that took place. On one hand, I was having the reality of, oh my God, I'm all alone. No one's here to take care of me. No one's going to protect me. And I am as shit scared as I've ever been. And I screamed like a crazy banshee, oh my God, completely terrified. I even had diarrhea and I had to poo right in front of the guy because it was just so completely terrorizing. But then on the exact split second, I was jumping up and down with glee, super excited. I was so happy. I knew I finally was ready. I was ready for this kind of experience. I was, everything I had ever done my whole life led me to earning my place at that night, where all of a sudden I was who I needed to be able to come through this experience like a warrior. And so then all of a sudden, after the guy beat me up, and then the other guy was in my house stealing my things because we were out in the yard when there was like mud everywhere, it was raining. It was like so dramatic, no? And so then he picks me up, and I look at him, and I'm like bleeding, and like I'm in my bathrobe. It's just like super wild. I look at him, and I knew that there was no defense. I could have no defense. There was nothing I could do to defend myself other than to just be me. So if like death was gonna come to me in that moment, I was gonna receive it as who I am, which is deeply loving.
You are.
And so then all of a sudden I just looked at him, I was like, are you okay? Do you need anything? You don't seem like you're doing very good. And he became so shocked in that moment that I was worried about him, that I wanted to take care of him, that I wanted to make sure he was okay. That all of a sudden he was like, look what I did to you. And so then that's when I felt like I had to have diarrhea in that moment. And so then all of a sudden I crouched down to do it. And then he crouched down in front of me, and we had like this whole exchange when all of a sudden he became my protector. And he's like, hey, they sent me, they've been scoping you out, they wanna take your car, they want you walking around, because there was this whole human trafficking thing that was beginning to happen in the area. And so they wanted me to be more available by having no truck, because the truck was hard not to kidnap me, no? And so then he's like, I'm not gonna take your truck. I'm gonna say it was here. You know, this is not my thing. I'm in debt. The guys wanted me to come and take your truck, and this is how I'm supposed to be paying them back. So I'm just gonna take your stuff. I'm gonna steal your stuff, but I'm not gonna do anything to you. I'm not gonna rape you. I'm not gonna do anything to you. And I was just like, whoa, because, you know, it was so, the rain, and he's holding my hand, and, you know, he smells really bad with all the alcohol smell, and we're looking at each other, and we're like in the middle of this moment where like he grew up in this whatever circumstances that led him to be that person that night in my life. And then I had all the circumstances that also led me to be there that night. And in a moment, his friend came out, and he like told him to go away. And so he left and just left us there alone. And he brought me into my house, and I was like, okay, show me whatever money you might have. And so I just found 200 pesos, gave it to him. He's like, okay, I'm leaving, but I want to see you naked. And I was like, okay, but I need you to back off. And thank God that I grew up like a wild girl in the jungle and in Canada with all the naked communities, that I don't actually have a sense of nakedness being like something that hurts me. No, it's for me just my natural state. And so I told him to take a few steps back, and so he did. And then when I opened up my bathrobe and he asked me to lift up my shirt, he fell on his knees, and then he grabbed my hand, and he just like put my hand on his forehead, and he just like bowed at my feet and just like, I don't know, prayed or something. And then he just ran away and left me there standing naked alone with my hand stretched out and all this blood dripping out of my third eye. And obviously that was very traumatizing. It took me like 2 years to be able to walk down the street without feeling that I'm gonna kill somebody. No,
Right.
I was like,
What did you do after that?
it was super shocking.
Of course. Oh my
Well,
gosh.
I left the next day. I packed everything I could
Oh,
in my car
good.
with all the adrenaline and everything. My uncle and his girlfriend came to help me, and they were so sweet and loving. And so then, like the day after, I was already gone. You know, I woke up and I had bruises everywhere. You could see the imprint of his hand on my neck, and I was like, my face was all deformed and black everywhere. And then all of a sudden, I saw how him and I had this soul contract, and how he was the one that had to be there that night to initiate me, and how I had to be worthy of that initiation by not letting my consciousness split into rejection of him or rejection of the moment, but totally embrace the moment and love him and love the moment and love the initiation and totally surrender to the graceful power that just shatters our duality, to be able to step into actual unity and actually belonging together. And so then from there, my life just totally changed. Obviously, I did deep recapitulations, I did the Temazcal, I did so many things to cleanse his energy from me and to cleanse the night from me and the whole experience and all the things that came through months later. But eventually did a GoFundMe, and people in 24 hours gave me back all the money I had invested on that land where I was building my house when they came and attacked me. And so then all of a sudden, spirit, it's like I went through all that stuff. I had nothing to show for it. I was homeless. I couldn't take anything. I had just bought the water tank. I had built a water tower. I got a pump. Like I had all these brick and mortar things that I couldn't take with me in my truck. And so all of a sudden I just had to let go of all this, thousands and thousands of dollars, and I invested into that. And then all of a sudden I got all the money back. No, like in 24 hours, people gave me $7,000, which was like exactly what I had invested on the land. And so then all of a sudden I had the money back, and then that was in central Mexico, and then I made my way back to Tulum. And that whole process just allowed me to be able to come into peace within my heart, because before that I had been living in Tulum with a lot of pain, because Tulum had begun getting really developed, and there was all of this land getting ripped apart. And I moved to Tulum 23 years ago, and it was so precious and pristine and gorgeous and mind-blowing and totally beautiful. And so then when all the developers began doing all this, and all the hotels started having all the drug parties and all that chaos ensued, with the no sewage treatments and destroying the mangrove, and it was just one thing after the other. And so I was into this like super anger. I was really angry. I really, it's just like I couldn't accept it. I couldn't integrate it. I couldn't move beyond the apparent injustice. And so then that's why I also really understand the people that get really hurt by thinking the world is being poisoned, or yes, I understand that feeling. I understand the pain. I understand the anger. I understand the feeling of the injustice. But it was thanks to this initiation with this guy that came to my house and took everything from me and did all these things, but then protected me from human traffickers. I was just like super hardcore. It was completely out of anything I would have ever even imagined. And so then that was just so humbling. It was so humbling, the whole thing.
You sound so forgiven. You sound,
but there's not even anything to forgive, because he was there for me. He was a gift.
Wow.
I'm super grateful for him. I'm grateful he was there that night. I'm grateful he did his best, because I'm also grateful the life he had to live. What circumstances he had to grow up in, the kind of little baby boy he had to be, how he was treated, everything, so that then he became that drunk guy that night. It's just like, in a way, like I see that he sacrificed his life for me. And so that's like my perspective on it. And in the end, the warrior has to believe. We cannot allow ourselves to hold on tightly to any belief structure, but we can also not allow ourselves to think negatively of everything, or to think that, oh, things didn't work out, oh, that was probably just a fluke, oh, that was dumb, because in the end, our intention and our receptivity to spirit and our capacity to transmute things inside ourselves and our capacity to be able to hold the highest aspirations and the highest, most beautiful feelings and thoughts about people. It's like now he is like probably one of the people that I honor the most.
When it happened to you, did you have these thoughts, or did these thoughts come after your own self healing and ceremonies? And
it was there from the very beginning. And the second that it happened, when I had that split moment where like I was having two simultaneous realities at the same time, I already knew it was the most sacred gift of my life. But the trauma is real.
okay,
You cannot like bypass trauma.
right.
Like trauma is trauma, and PTSD is PTSD, and the electrical currents of fear and the horrible anxiety and everything. Yeah, it took like 2 years for me to feel normal. Mm-hmm.
Wow. And so the practices that you do now and the practices that come along with your rituals and ceremonies, are these some of the things that you did to heal yourself?
Yes.
From trauma?
Mm-hmm.
Wonderful.
Yes.
Do you want to take a break, or can we
Yeah.
talk more? Okay, let's take a
let's
break,
take a
and then
break.
we'll be right back,
Yes.
and we'll talk more about the ceremonies.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Sounds
Thank
great.
you. Thank you so much.